Hey, welcome to Chiller Chat. Hope you're enjoying the movie tonight, Night of the Living Dead. We have our very special guest here, Mr. Tom Savini. And
oh no, I'm Tom
Savini. Shawn Beightol. Tom Savini impersonator, Shawn Beightol.
So. No, look, there's the proof. It's in the pudding. No, the proof is in the poster.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for being on our show tonight.
My pleasure.
This is the 40th year anniversary of the original Night of the Living Dead.
God, has it been that long?
40 years. October of '68.
That's right. Yeah, 68.
Yeah.
Never thought of that. No, but it makes sense because the cast of that movie, with the exception of the young girl and the young guy, Tommy, they're doing a world tour. I think they're in Spain this weekend at a famous film festival, and that's what all they've been doing all year is going from horror convention to horror convention with George Romero. I wasn't in that cast, or I'd be there. You know.
Well, you were almost in that cast, were you not?
No, I almost did the special makeup effects on that.
Right.
I had showed George my portfolio. He said, "Yeah, we can use you on this thing." But I had enlisted in the Army, and you have 140 days. They took me within the 140 days. So I was in Vietnam when George made the original Night of the Living Dead. But then years later, in 1990, I directed the remake.
Right.
Night of the Living Dead, the color version. So, and that's what kept me going on the set at night. You know, if there was a trial or tribulation or problems, you know, on the set, and there were a lot of them, that I would just think, you know what, I was supposed to be in the original, and here I am directing the remake. Right. So shut up, you know. Let's no matter what happens, it'll be fine. You know?
Well, that had to be tough to not be part of the original movie, but. Now, you were a combat photographer?
Yeah.
Was that right? Did anything from those experiences help you in what you're doing now?
Oh, I think my whole reputation is based on my Vietnam experience. I started doing effects when I was 11 years old. People think that it began in Vietnam, no, but when I was 11 years old, I started being interested. But Vietnam was a lesson in anatomy, if you know what I mean. So my stuff, my reputation is that my special effects were very realistic. Because my attitude was, if the fake stuff didn't give me the same feeling I got when I saw the real stuff, the fake stuff isn't real enough. And that's how I proceeded. That was my mindset. You know. Having seen the real thing.
Right, right. Speaking of Tommy, I wanted to ask you
something.
Young Tommy?
Yeah.
In Friday the 13th Part 4.
Yeah,
Tommy,
the kid's name was Tommy.
That's obviously an homage to you, I would imagine.
You know,
a little boy, he's got all these masks, he makes these masks, he's a special effects.
His special effects was Corey Feldman played that part.
Right. Was that your idea?
No, you know what? I replaced the makeup artist on that movie.
Okay.
And so the script was already written. I went in late, and his name was always Tommy.
Okay.
Whether the writer decided to make it a homage, I never spoke to him about that, but everybody thinks so. So let's just say yeah.
I'm going to go with yes.
It was definitely a homage to me.
Yes.
And Corey Feldman's name was Tommy.
Yes, Friday the 13th Part 4 was
the
written,
final chapter.
Yes, in honor of Tom Savini.
Yes.
So, okay. Got a question here about Day of the Dead.
That's George Romero's favorite of the Dead series.
I believe it's mine too.
It's mine, you know.
There are there are many effects in that movie that are outstanding, but I think the two that stand out to me as just incredible. First of all, with the gentleman laying on the table without.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew the guy that was just a brain.
Right. Dick Smith, I guess, commented on that as far as.
He did in his course. You know, I fooled Dick Smith, my idol, my mentor. You know, one of the reasons that I'm doing what I do is because of Dick Smith, who is the greatest living makeup artist on the planet. You know, he invented everything that we do. We improve it, and you know, we move on with it. But yeah, that was, and I use him as an example. That guy lying on the table with just a brain, because you know, there's zombie movies coming up that people want me to work on, or direct, or do effects, or at least consult. And I say to them, you know, I think you need like some CGI zombies, because it's tough to make zombies scary anymore. You know, I mean, there's only so much you can do to the face and the hands and the clothing. I think you need half of their body gone, or you know, imagine that guy walking around. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and you can only do that with CGI or a puppet. You know. But that's what it would take, like somebody with a hole blown through them, but they're still alive, because, as you know, as long as the brain is alive or intact, you know, the zombie walks around.
Sure.
So that would be, I use him as an example for that. What's the other one?
The other one was for Rhodes at the very end
Oh,
being
when we
torn
tore him in
apart.
half,
Now
yeah.
there's a story there.
No, there's not a rubber duck in him.
This is a good story. I got a good laugh out of this. Maybe when we come back from the next break, we'll talk about the inside story or behind the scenes story about.
Well, let's
when-
tease them with it though first.
Yes.
What is it?
Well, it's something to do with a refrigerator
Oh,
mishap.
sure. Yeah, we'll chat about that.
Yeah.
No, that's not a story. That occurred,
Yeah.
and it wasn't pleasant.
From what I understand, it was not. So
No.
when we come back, we'll hear a little
we
bit
going
more
away
about
already?
that. We're going to go away, and then we'll
Okay.
be right back.
See you later.
So, back to the movie.
Raise your hand if you want to.
We're going to be talking about the effect where Rose or the
Oh, it was torn in half?
Yeah, it was torn.
Well,
in
you
half.
know, we throughout the movie we used pig intestines from a slaughterhouse.
Is this
And-
rolling?
Huh? Yeah, it's
Yeah, we're on.
Oh.
We're on.
surprise.
Okay,
Well, we used pig intestines, and we used them over and over again. We kept them in a 5-gallon drum in the refrigerator in our studio. But you know, there's a sequence in Day of the Dead that takes place in Florida. So we all flew to Florida for a couple of weeks, and before we left, somebody unplugged the refrigerator. So when we come back, we didn't know this, but it was time to do the effects on Rhodes. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I sent Greg, we called him Gut Boy, you know, to get the guts, and they were rotten, smelly, slimy, autopsies, horrible. It was an awful smell. And it's indescribable, you know. But we had to use them. You're not going to go out and buy, you know, pig intestines at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and Joe Pilato, the actor that played Rhodes, he's trapped under the floor. We built a special floor that his body would be under, so we would attach the fake body that we were going to tear apart to him. So he is trapped. He can't move. And all of us, we got wax up our nose, you know, and I've got English leather on my lips and a respirator, you know. But you couldn't put anything in his nose because you would see the stuff. So he had to bear it. He had to, and we had to put them on him underneath and glue them, the fake chest over him. So
Wow.
I have video of that, and when the effect was over, he was ready to heave, you know. I don't blame him, you know, it was
Well,
disgusting.
The look on his face when he's being pulled apart
Because
is
of the smell.
priceless.
You know why?
When you know the story behind it. I think.
Because after the chest was glued to him, the guts were sort of sealed,
Mm.
and he was at least safe for a little bit. But when he got torn apart and the guts were revealed,
Just get
in a
big whiff
hot
of that.
studio situation with rotting pig guts, you know, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But I thought you were going to say that some of the guts looked like a rubber duck, because when they tore his guts out, we should have put a rubber duck in there. You know, it would have been a nice little addition. You know, one of those toy gag ducks.
Yeah.
No, but it's not a rubber duck. It's just rubber, real intestines and rubber intestines. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a-
So go see Day of the Dead for the expression
Yeah.
on Joe Pilato's face
yeah, stick around to the end of the movie.
when
to
we
see
tore him
Joe.
apart. Yeah.
Yeah. So, John, do you have anything? I know you're being a little chatterbox over there.
I'm
so.
just back. I'm just enjoying really hearing these stories of somebody that was actually there creating this. I'm actually drawing a blank. I'm nervous.
Well, the fun was inventing that stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff had never been done before, so I mean that's where the fun is. If we have a script and there'd be, you know, you examine the script and you wind up with a list of what the effects are,
Mhm.
you know, and then the job is to create those magic tricks. I think of them as magic tricks. I wrote 2 books on special effects. They're called Grand Illusions, yeah, because I think of them as magic tricks. But then you always, if you're a budding filmmaker or a special makeup effects person, I tell them always talk to the director after you have your list, because you might be visualizing things that he doesn't need. You talk to the director, and then that gives you your final list. And then the list tells you how many people you need, how long it will take, how much it's going to cost. That was the standard procedure, back when I was doing effects.
Now, if you were going to do all the effects,
glasses.
yeah,
I should wear glasses and sprinkle red all over
a little
my face.
different, yeah. Be
This
true-
is actually on
be
the set of
true to
Friday the
poster.
13th. Yeah, that's
Oh.
Jason right there. Yeah.
This
That's
is-
from Dusk Till Dawn, the vampire. That's
Uh-huh.
Fluffy, the crate creature from Creepshow. Bub was from Day of the Dead.
Mhm.
And this is actually from the Ted Bundy story. One of the cadavers that
Okay,
came.
you played a detective in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, and this looks like Leatherface.
Actually,
That's
quite a bit of acting as well as
Well, that's
special
what I mean. I
effects.
don't do effects anymore. I'm trying to concentrate on acting and directing, and it's been working. I did Grindhouse, as you saw, Dusk Till Dawn. Lost Boys 2 just came out on
Right,
DVD.
right.
I did the new Kevin Smith movie, Zack and Miri Make a Porno. It's a comedy.
Okay.
So that's been sort of working, and directing.
Mhm.
I just directed a commercial in Los Angeles a couple of days ago on bull riding, but what they wanted was a horror movie trailer that led up to bull riding. So you're going to be fooled into thinking you're watching a preview for a new horror movie. The poor kids are in peril, the beast is chasing them,
Uh-huh.
but then the cowboys show up and they start riding the bulls. And anyway, it airs October 18th.
Well, now you direct more than just movies, right? I mean, I remember when I lived in Pittsburgh, I went to the Pittsburgh Theater and
You
saw
saw
Dracula.
that? Oh,
Dracula,
that was a magic
fantastic
show.
play.
Thank you. That was great. That was
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hard work, but it was live effects happening every night on
Mhm.
stage. I think it ran for like
Give
10
them a
weeks.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really.
no second take,
Yeah.
so everything had to work.
Well, pull
And
up.
we turned Dracula into a bat on stage. Van Helsing's crucifix burst into flames.
Mhm.
Dracula would come out of the floor out of a coffin. I mean, that was an elaborate magic show, I think.
Yeah, and now have you done more of that?
I'd love to do that play again somewhere. The management changed at the city theater. It's tough to get into the public theater.
Oh.
Is that in the shot?
Strange-
It's in the shot, the poster film? Okay, we're haunted.
Strange things
We're
are
haunted.
awry here on the set of
But
Chiller
yeah, I'd
Chat.
love to do that again. But I've been directing at my film school. We're doing new episodes of The Chill Factor, which is a pilot episode for a horror anthology. So every 4th semester, which is every semester, we'll do a new episode, and we're going to be distributing those on a DVD, 3 episodes, on one DVD.
Okay. Well, maybe when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the Douglas Education Center and what Tom Savini does down there. So, back to Night of the Living Dead.
Okay, wait. We're leaving. Everybody pose. Make a pose.
All right.
Okay.
And we're back. Wow, that was a long,
Scary.
long
Scary,
time
wasn't
to
it?
remain in that position. So,
Yeah.
hands are a
A
little.
lot happened, didn't in the movie?
Yeah, fantastic movie.
Do you have any idea where we are in the movie by now?
By now, well, see, I wasn't. Were you watching?
Were you
Keeping track of
timing?
the?
What, the time?
Yeah. Because I've
Oh,
been,
no.
I've been
Yeah,
here.
too
I've
much
been here
fun
talking to Tom
I don't
Savini.
know, I've been
haven't-
sitting back here listening.
Yeah. Yes, you have.
Trying to do more.
Well, at the Douglas Education Center, what type of things are you doing these days?
Well, this is the 8th year of the special makeup effects program. We have students coming from all over the world. And the 3rd semester for the new film school, digital film school.
Mhm.
So we have a green screen stage, sound stage, editing suites. We're doing music videos, companies come in and use our facilities, and also the student filmmakers come. And the thing that makes the film school one of a kind, unlike any other film school, is that a potential filmmaker can come in and use the makeup department, the graphic arts, the illustrations, like a studio where there's an assembly line of makeup artists. So especially these kids that are coming in wanting to do their little horror movies, the idea that there's all these makeup effects students that can create a monster or a makeup or a character or something. that's just ideal for a potential filmmaker to have that available, you know.
Wow, and this is your 8th year for doing that?
For the makeup effects school, third
Okay.
semester for the film school.
Okay. Now, I took that at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was down there, and well, this is, I think, this was before the Douglas Education.
Right, yes, yes.
Jerry Gergley was one of my instructors.
Jerry's my main instructor.
Yeah.
At our school.
He's an interesting gentleman, yeah.
Oh, yeah, very eccentric,
very,
but,
very
you know,
talented.
quite a list of credits.
Yeah, yeah. So, actually, Shawn pointed something out to me about one of your hobbies.
I mean, we sit here and talk about all your blood and splatters, and somewhere right online, and I might be wrong, because we
Mhm.
can't believe everything you read, they said you also like to paint.
Oh, sure,
And,
yeah.
and what surprised me was flowers.
Well, yeah.
No, that's what it said. I mean,
I've
that's totally
painted-
cool. That's nothing to be embarrassed
Yes,
about.
I've painted flower arrangements,
You just
know,
wouldn't think. We think of Tom, we see fangs, we
scenes.
see blood.
No, I'm a sucker for a good love story, you know. But most of my paintings are Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, monsters.
Mhm.
But I just, I don't know, I was in this stage where flowers just seemed to, you know,
Hmm.
capture my interest.
Have you done a lot of theater, stage
Oh,
theater?
my God, yeah, yeah. I spent the 70s on stage in repertory theater. I spent from 1970 to 78, every night I was in a play, doing the makeup or choreographing a musical or directing, you know, always doing the makeup on the entire cast. And that was the most fun, that was the most fun of my life.
Mhm.
I was poor as can be, had nothing, you know, struggling as a freelance photographer in North Carolina. But boy, oh boy, every night I look forward to being somebody else, you know, playing King Arthur or Ben Franklin or Henry David Thoreau, you know, or doing all the makeup on the cast of Fiddler on the Roof, or staging the stunts in a thing called Black Comedy. That was the most fun.
Mhm.
And it was during that time that, of course, I wanted to move on and work in movies and stuff. So the year I left, Dino De Laurentiis opened his studio in Wilmington, like 15 miles away. So, but I wound up hooking up with George Romero and getting involved in the movies anyway. You know.
Mhm. Well, speaking of stunts, you've done several stunts in your time.
Yeah, the more you do, the more you get to do. So, I've done stunts in Friday the 13th, and it was just all the stunts in Dawn of the Dead were done by me.
So you actually fell off
sure.
of the.
And I missed the first time.
Uh-huh.
I went off the balcony at the Monroeville Mall.
Yeah, everybody who saw Dawn of the Dead, you know exactly what I'm talking
And I
about.
landed in the fountain, but I
Yeah.
really landed in some cardboard boxes.
Okay.
Except when we rehearsed it, and I missed the cardboard boxes.
Did you get hurt?
My head hit the boxes, but my feet slammed into the floor. It was about 50 feet up there. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't walk for a couple of weeks. I was in a golf cart. I was still doing the effects, but I was doing them from a golf cart
Oh, my
or
goodness.
walking with canes, you know.
Can't
So when
stop
my
this guy.
feet felt better, we shot the scene. But this time I had more boxes,
Mhm.
you know, lots more boxes. And it worked out well.
You reprised your role as that biker for the
Blades,
Land of the
yeah.
Dead, right?
I mean, those parts were not in the script.
Right.
Me and my friend Tasso, who also wound up doing some of the later stunts, we just put costumes on and became part of
Mhm.
the bike gang, you know, and George kept wanting to see more and more of that, because bikers couldn't act, you know.
Mhm.
They just rode around in their motorcycles inside the mall. We were doing the scenes, you know, as bikers, so. There are people that think I'm a biker because I've been a biker in so many movies. I was a biker in Dusk Till Dawn, I was a biker in Night Riders, I was a
Right.
biker in Dawn of the Dead, you know, so.
Well, I've seen pictures of you like posing with a motorcycle and that. And
Yeah,
I would think you're a biker too.
But lately I've been playing like deputies, like I was a deputy sheriff in Grindhouse.
Uh-huh.
I was a deputy, and I was the sheriff in Land of the Dead.
Right.
No, I'm sorry, the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Ted Bundy story. You were a
I was
detective.
that,
so-
yeah, so.
So now you're moving from biker to law enforcement.
No, but now lately I've been a vampire. I was a vampire in
Okay.
Lost Boys 2. I was a
Right.
vampire in The Dead Matters, so I'm in my vampire stage, I guess,
Okay,
you know.
okay.
What's next? I have no idea.
What's the natural progression from vampire? I guess time will tell.
Werewolf, you know,
Werewolf,
I don't know.
sure.
We'll see.
So, okay, well, thank you very much for being on the
That's
show.
it? Oh, this is so much fun, and we're leaving? Okay.
Well, we can come back for one more
No,
session.
no, we're gonna
if
go
you want
swimming.
to. Okay, you gotta.
No, aren't we going
Okay.
to dinner or something in like an hour, right?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
So, enjoy the movie. Let's get back to Night of the Living Dead.
And I hope it's not anticlimactical after hanging out with us. You know?
Oh, yeah. How could it
No,
not
it
be?
couldn't be. Couldn't
Yeah.
be.
All right. Thank you.
How many times do I have to tell you, just because something isn't good doesn't mean it's bad?